guys, what the heck is up? Welcome back to my channel and to another freaking video. We're changing the vibes. I want to play around with like more of my casual sit down videos. Do we like the couch? Is the bed more of a comfy cozy vibe? I don't know, but we do know usually when I'm sitting and chilling and not vlogging, it's like more of a weight loss GLP-1 type video. So we are here to do a video about how my life has changed since losing 65 pounds. If you are just stumbling across this video, my name is Brittany. I have been on my GLP-1 journey since the very end of January 2023. So I'm going on like 15-ish months on my journey. I started with semaglutide, maxed out my dose of that back in December, switched over to trizepatide. People yell at me because they don't like how I say that. Oh well. And we are here. So I get my medicine from MinuteMD. They're a telehealth provider. I've used them for almost my entire journey. They are always linked down below if you're looking for a telehealth provider. One of the things I always like to emphasize with them is they do blood work, which I really appreciate, but we've heard that enough. I wanted to sit down and talk about how my life has changed over the last 14-15 months in my weight loss journey. I saw one of my favorite YouTubers, Samantha Joe, do a video kind of like this, and it was very interesting to hear like her perspectives and be like, oh my gosh, that changed for me too, or have even like different perspectives and different things change or whatever. And so I was like, this is a really interesting video and kind of like my thoughts with my platform right now. I've been getting so much love and support on these videos, which has been so fun. It's got me really back in to creating, feeling motivated, all of that. But I also don't want my channel to just be a GLP-1 weight loss video vibe channel, because I feel like that could be repetitive. At some point my journey will be done, right? Because I'll get to my goal and be happy and then sustain and things like that. And also I just don't know for my mental health if it's great to just have a weight loss only channel. So my thoughts are like 1 week I'll do a vlog, fun video, 1 week will be GLP-1, weight loss, etc, etc, etc. Feel free to subscribe. I appreciate all the support I've gotten thus far, and I've been rambling for enough time. Let's get into it. I like sat down and thought these bullet points through. A lot of the times when I'm filming any sort of video, I kind of just sit and talk, which I'm going to do, but I like made a list because I didn't want to forget. There are obviously a ton of pros in this journey. I am about 65 pounds down. I am so proud of myself. I also have so much further I want to go in my journey, and a lot of it of course needs to be non-scale based. So most of like my positives, and there are a few negatives surprisingly, which is always interesting, and I feel like those are going to be more interesting to talk about because I feel like I've noticed a lot. I shouldn't say a lot, but like that's where my differences come in. So one of the first things I put down for the positives of how my life has changed since losing the 65 pounds is new hobbies or picking up old hobbies. So like in my journey at my highest weight, I knew that I didn't feel the best about myself. I knew insecurities, I knew all of that, but I didn't really realize like deep down what was being affected by that, in a sense of like a big thing, a big thing is content creating. I have loved making YouTube videos since I was literally in middle school. Even before I would like post them online, I would film them, or I would make a YouTube channel, I'd post on it, and then I would delete it and all of that stuff. So my point with that is I have loved making content since I was a little girl, and for a while I was like, I just don't like it. I burnt out. That was an old part of my life, and although those were like valid feelings at the time, now that I'm feeling so much better about myself and I'm dabbling in fashion and getting into makeup and doing all this stuff again, I love making videos and editing. I have spent hours this week alone on Canva coming up with thumbnails and making new intros and banners and just like really feeling a passion for content creating that I haven't since 2017, 2018. And I think a lot of it has to do with my weight loss because I'm feeling so much better about myself, so much more motivated, etc, etc. With that, also just wanting to try new things, wanting to go out and do painting and just stuff where I feel like before I would just want to be like a little hermit. I wasn't, but I really wanted to be, and so I've just felt more motivated to be adventurous and try new things. Exercise, we're working on it, but in a way I don't think I'd call it a hobby yet, but I've even been inclined to exercise or want to walk or sit in the sun and like read a book, and just things that I would rot right here for a really long time prior. So I've just noticed my want for new hobbies, bringing back old hobbies, etc., which has been really fun and just something I didn't realize would come with this journey and where I'm at mentally and everything like that. The next one is a huge win for me, and it's going to the doctors. And I have briefly mentioned this in another video. I had a terrible experience with a male MD at my old provider clinic years ago that just was not fun, was not great, did not make me feel good, made me have so much anxiety about the doctor. And not even that anything was like wrong with me health-wise at that time, but just how he spoke to me, how he talked down to me, all of these things. I do know at a provider office, just to like, I know that you're there for health, and I know that when you are struggling with your weight, there are things that will come down the line with that. So it's their job to like talk to you about that to some degree. However, it can be done in certain ways, and this man, whatever. So I've had an anxiety over doctors since then. It was just terrible. And I can go to like the dentist, I can go to the eye doctor, but primary care, I've just been like, no. And I had not gone since before I had turned 26. I went one more time when I was on my parents' insurance just to be like, okay, but I didn't even get blood work done then because it was during COVID and their labs were closed. I got blood work done obviously when I switched to Minute MD, but I don't know, sorry, I just got my hair done and I'm like playing with it in the viewfinder. I don't know on the panels like what is done through the Minute, and I should. It's ignorant of me. I don't know what was done on the Minute MD blood panel versus like your primary care panel, but nonetheless, I went to a new doctor. I got blood work done and my blood work was great, which made me so happy because I'm sure if I was at a different point in my health journey, the results would have been very different or could have been very different. Everything looked great. And then from there, I also have just been able to like advocate for myself. I feel like before I had anxiety around doctors, I didn't care as much. And with that, I mean, I have specialists appointments set that I've needed to go to for like endometriosis and stuff like that I've needed to do for like 6 or 7 years that I just never advocated for myself. I have those. I have referrals in for therapists to work on all of these things, and so I'm really proud of myself because that has definitely been one of the biggest things to come out of this weight loss journey, is being able to go to the doctors, facing those anxieties, not being scared to advocate for myself and my health. And so that has been just a really big win in this health journey. Another obvious one is how clothes fit, and I feel like that goes back to content creating in a way. I've always been a fashion girly, and even at my highest weight, I have tried to do my best, but it's really hard when you don't feel the best about yourself, when you are limited to the stores you can shop at. There is a store out there called Eloquii. It's kind of expensive, but they cater to higher size clothing, and they're kind of expensive. They do have sales, but they just, at the highest weight I was at, they just were like the one thing that was holding me on still with like any sort of fashion. So if you're looking for, I believe they're 14 up, I don't know their max size, but if you need like, you're struggling with that, if you need, I would highly recommend them. I know they're expensive, but side note there, I've been able to shop pretty much at any store I want. Obviously like Brittany, Melville and stuff, not really, but I don't care about them anyways, just as an example. I can't go everywhere, but I can go pretty much anywhere, which has just been opening like a door for me. And tags and the clothing sizes, none of that really matters, right? But it's just nice to be able to not have to worry about it. A big thing is shoes and jewelry, and this is stuff I really didn't think about in my weight loss journey before I had lost weight, is being able to fit into more shoes. I didn't even think, again, that I cared like about heels and things like that. But I always have had wide feet, so I've always struggled with it. But especially at my highest weight, it was like an extra struggle. And I tried so hard to find shoes, and unless I bought them specifically wide, they wouldn't work for me. And now a lot of them do. Not every single one, but a lot of shoes are working for me now. Your necklaces like this, right? These have never been an issue for me, but chokers, bracelets, watches specifically, used to not work in many cases for me, and now they do. This ring didn't fit me for a really long time, and now it does. And so just things like that I didn't think about. And when you love fashion and accessorizing and stuff as much as I do, I don't know, it's just crazy. I feel so in touch with myself in regards to my fashion, and that just helps my mental health too, be in content creating, right? Because I can go and I can take pictures in a cute outfit and be excited and feel good, where before I felt really limited on that. And that could be silly, like if you don't care about clothes and stuff, you're like, why are we even talking about this, Brit? But for me, that was just a really big thing. And I knew with weight loss, obviously I knew I was going to be able to wear smaller sizes. I knew I knew certain clothes would look better on me than they used to. Like, I knew all that, but a lot of the stuff I didn't think about was being able to wear shoes. And I love to wear heels now. Not tall ones, but I love to wear heels, like 1 to 2 inches. And I love to accessorize, and I've been buying so many watches and stuff like that that I hadn't been able to for so long. And so that has been very, very, very fun for me. Another one that was more like on the serious note versus fun, like I can make cute outfits and I can take photos of myself and not feel shitty. I have learned to stop eating when I am full, and I have struggled with this for so long. I was so weird about leftovers, all of this stuff. I was like, I need to eat everything on my plate, and even like I just wouldn't register that I was full. And that has been something through this journey that has been, obviously a big shout out to GLP-1s, is just being able to listen to my body. And it's like, yo, Britt, you're full. Or like, Britt, is that the best decision for you? And before, I just could not get myself to care. And that is a brain issue that I will work out in therapy, because GLP-1s are great. They're so helpful. I've been binge free for 15 years, but there's a lot more in the brain that's gonna need to be worked on outside of just this medicine, right? But it's been really nice in the last 15 months to be able to like eat, and then even if my plate isn't empty, but I feel full, to stop and be like, you know what, Britt, you can have leftovers. You do not have to binge this entire pizza in one sitting, and then you don't have to think about it for the next 12 hours until you do. Like, having silenced food noises and all of that has just been a huge, huge thing in this weight loss journey that I've been so, so grateful for. And another serious one is just knowing my worth better, being able to set boundaries and all of that. And again, I feel like that's something that I'm gonna have to work out way more in this fun therapy journey I'm going to go on. But I just am so proud of myself and how far I've gone in my journey and what I've been able to do for myself on the scale and off the scale. And it has built up my confidence so much. I have a lot more work to do. I don't want to come on here and be like, everything is perfect. Like, I still need to work on things, but just I have such a better idea of my worth and having boundaries. And if there's somebody that's not treating me nicely, I struggle with being a people pleaser. And I feel like at my higher weight, when you, unfortunately, at least in my life personally, a lot of people would like emphasize, like, if you lost weight, this person might treat you better, like this boy might like you more, all of that, whatever that might be. So because that was in my head for so much, I would let people maybe not be the nicest to me, maybe take advantage of me, maybe all of this stuff. And so through this journey, I've been able to discover a lot more about myself and be able to have better boundaries and know my worth better. And I've been really proud of myself for that. And again, like during this weight loss journey, right, you know you're gonna lose weight, you know clothes are gonna fit you better, you know all of this stuff, but it's more of the things like in your brain, like your worth and finding new hobbies. That it's like, I didn't realize that that would happen from this. And I, again, have a lot more work to do on that. But even with the stuff, I feel boundary wise, self-worth wise, I'm able to acknowledge the stuff that I still need to work on and be better at, which before I feel like I wouldn't. And I don't know why. It's just crazy to me. I don't know. And then the last positive I'm going to talk about for now is just, this was something that Samantha Jo talked about and I was like, yes. And I don't know why for me it shouldn't be embarrassing, but it is to talk about things. And I'm past this, so I feel for me, one of the things, and I remember this was, I had like the biggest breakdown, and I've actually only talked to 2 people about this ever, and I talk to everyone about everything. So the fact that I kept this to 2 people shows how much of an insecurity it was to me. I remember going to visit my friend Paige in California, and my friend Courtney was already there. She had gone out a couple days before me, so I was getting on the airplane, I'm by myself, whatever, and I go to like buckle my seatbelt and I couldn't, and I was like, there's no way, like what's going on? This has never happened to me before, like there's no way, whatever. And I had to ask for a seatbelt extender for the first time, and there's nothing wrong with it, like there's nothing, but for me personally, I just like had a lot of anxiety about it. I was like, this has never happened, like what is going on? And at that point whatever. And I felt so embarrassed having to ask for an extender, and I just like couldn't tell anybody. I like wanted to cry. I had texted Courtney and I was like, do not tell anybody this, but like I need to tell somebody, and I am just like so upset with myself. And then I always promised myself like, this is never gonna happen again, and then it would. And so I would like want to get on the airplane before my friends or before my family, because I just didn't want anybody to know that this was something that I had to deal with. And I obviously don't have to do that anymore. And again, I don't like, there's no judgment there, it's just something that I struggled with personally, and it took me honestly like over a year to get to the point. Like that was in January of 2022, I want to say, and so it took me almost a year to even get on my journey and to start addressing those things. And so Samantha Jo also had made comments about like certain things, rides, for example. I never had to experience that. I don't really go on rides often, so maybe I did and I just don't know it. But just not having to worry about that stuff is such a relief. Like planes have never been something I dated someone in a different state that I was flying to see them every other weekend for like over a year, and I just would get on the plane like, no worries here. And so having a flight anxiety over something was very new to me and very uncomfortable, and I didn't like it. So just in general, not having to worry about those things anymore, or most of those things. My memory card got full, so the position might be different, cut me off. I hope I worded that part okay, but just, yeah, my point there has been made. It's been nice, it's been so good, and it's just been nice to not have anxieties and also be proud of myself. And I don't know why I decided to tell my camera that when I've literally talked about it to 2 people in my whole entire life. So that's fun and cute for me, right? So let's talk about a couple of the negatives. And the first one is going to be the obvious: navigating a scale, counting calories. That can be a slippery slope. And although I've been really good with the calorie counting and not allowing myself to get into toxic habits with that, the scale is very interesting to navigate. The want to be on it and check all the time, like daily, has been interesting. And I'm self-aware of it, which is good. But that has been something that I'm like, I don't want to spend my whole life caring about the scale as much as I do right now. And I didn't at the beginning of this journey. So that is something that has been a negative for me personally, and something that at least I'm aware of, right? I'm talking to you guys about it. I know it's there, and just, yeah, navigating that. Another obvious one with GLP-1 journeys, you have side effects. I've been on them for so long at this point. The side effects are very, very minor. I just started a new medicine, so they're there a little bit more than they had been the last few months. But with tirzepatide, the side effects are meant to be lesser than semaglutide. And so overall, this week my GI has been like a little bit weird to navigate. But I feel like, again, that's an obvious thing. A really big one I wanted to talk about, and pretty much the main one because I only have one more after this. This is the one specifically I thought was interesting because a lot of people, again for reference, like in Samantha Jo's video, she was talking about how people treat her differently now that she's lost weight in a positive way, and how it makes her feel not very great. I mean, other people have talked about this too, right? Like it sucks because you know that you're the same person and you know that size and stuff, it doesn't matter, but when people treat you differently because of your appearance, it sucks. I actually have had the opposite experience, which is so weird to me. Obviously, no matter where I'm at in my weight journey, my highest weight, however that looks, I have 100% noticed like men in the dating world treating you differently. It sucks, it hurts. That's something that is still, I am so in my head about. I do not put myself out there. I do not even want the thought of rejection. I still do all of this stuff. Again, I'll work that through in therapy, not with you guys on camera. So let's take like men and dating out of this, because yeah, I've been told some crazy comments from people in my life about weight and men and things like, if you lost weight, like obviously the person would like you more if you, like, just the craziest things. But outside of that, I've been very lucky in regards to having people around me and people just always be kind and nice to me. I personally, in this weight loss journey, don't feel like anybody, strangers, things like that, have treated me differently, and I know that that is a very rare thing for somebody to be able to say. So I'm so like grateful that I have not had to experience that, again, outside of men and dating. But I have noticed the more weight that I lose, the more comments I get about how I need to lose more. And this is not something that I get on the internet. I have gotten so many kind comments and support through the internet. And if anything, like when you talk about body image, weight, things like that on the internet is a mean, scary place. And so I feel like you open yourself up to idiots who just want to tell you their opinion. And so I expected to get more online than what I did. And I have, again, had an amazing experience sharing my journey online. And those are the people that I would expect to just not care what they say. It's people in my real life where they should know better that say stuff. And so that's where it's like the argument of, right, like you talk about it online, like you open yourself up to that. I'm like, oh no, it's not strangers, it's people that I know. Obviously, like I love getting compliments, I love when people notice because you put in hard work and things like that. But on the other end, it's like comments, there's some that aren't that deep, right? Like people will say a lot like, keep going on your journey, and that is like double backhanded, right? Because it's like, why do I have to keep going. And if I want to keep going, why? I don't know. Like, if you think I'm doing so, I don't know. That one is a slippery slope, but that's like on the minor scale, right? But it's people that say like you'll go out to eat with them and they're like, aren't you like on a weight loss journey? Like, why should you be eating that? I'm like, should you be speaking to me that way ever? But like you didn't used to, but now you are? Or just, yeah, I don't know. I've gotten more negative comments and been more in my head and all of that about my weight loss journey now than I ever have at my highest weight, which is just crazy to me. And I feel like a lot of people don't experience that, or maybe they do and they just don't share it. But that has been trippy for me because I feel, I'm like, why were you nicer to me? Or why did you say nicer things to me then than you do now? I don't know. It's been interesting. And then the last one is, I feel like along with the side effects of GLP-1s, hair loss, I go through phases. When I was like starting this journey a couple months in, my hair was falling out. I remember going to my hairdresser and her just being like, you're not, and I lost a lot of hair the first time I had gotten COVID for like months after. This was worse than that. It got stable for a while and then I've noticed it again. So hair loss is sucky, and I have like long hair but it's pretty thin, so I've just been trying to navigate that with biotin and hair treatments and not washing my hair as much, not blow drying it, trying to put heat on it less when I do heat tools that don't. But that has been obviously like the most minor thing in this whole journey. I'm gonna end the video there. This was a really long rambly video, but it was just kind of fun to do something different because I don't have any updates for you this week. I will do like a 2-month one and some fun videos in between. But that is it for today's video. I hope you guys enjoyed. Hopefully you guys related to the positive ones and not the negative ones, if anything. But again, thank you for the support. MinuteMD is linked down below if you want to start your GLP-1 journey, and I will see you next week for another freaking video. Good. Bye.